Welcome to the Building on Purpose TubeCast, where contractors share how they build with intention, purpose, and impact. This show is proudly sponsored by our partners at Property.com. The inaugural #1 TubeCast.
Yeah.
We're not calling them podcasts because we're not putting this on Apple or on the Google Android. I don't think people listen to podcasts anymore.
I do all my podcasting on YouTube as well. Congrats. This is exciting. I'm excited for you. This is a
It is.
cool step.
I like having you as #1 because I really think that you and I met in a very interesting manner. And this whole TubeCast is really aimed on for folks that are just here. This is called what is it called? Building on Purpose TubeCast. So they're like, well, why do you call it a TubeCast? I don't think many people are going to Apple Pods. I don't even think people have pods anymore. So most people are going to hear interviews and people that they want to learn from on YouTube and watching videos and listening. That's how I do, even when I'm out walking the dogs. So Adam and I met probably a long time ago. I remember commenting years ago on how cool your logo was, and then maybe a year went by, and then a group and people, and I think Adam was like, well, what is this? What is this deal with these Improvifi people? And why the heck would I, pay these guys and enroll them, do business with them? And it was just like this influx of wonderful, organic people saying, oh, he's a good guy and they're a good team. They got a good culture and stuff like that. And here we are working together, doing our thing. So I'm super proud to be here with you today on this inaugural launch of our TubeCast. And basically to frame it up, folks, we're going to be asking like 5 specific questions. So Adam can kind of tell us his story and what the Honeybee story is and what he's doing. So Adam is the founder and owner and probably head janitor over at Honeybee. And they're located in is it Rockford, Illinois area?
That's exactly where we are. Yep.
All right, awesome. And I know there's a bunch of different areas that you serve. So you're probably really 5 Mile famous. And your branding stands out so well. It's so cool to see you branded. So let's start with kind of like digging into, I know this is so silly, like the Simon Sinek, start with your why. But my first question that I'm going to be asking to the clients and contractors that we care about and know, like, and trust in our group over here is, what is your why? Like, let's start with the heartbeat of why Honeybee Roofing. And what's your personal why behind you getting into this roofing business? What's your backstory?
Well, I don't think it's silly to do the whole start with why thing. It's super important. I get into a lot of meetings and I'm like, why are we even having this conversation? What are we actually trying to accomplish? So it's a great place to start. And I wish I could interview you and hear your backstory and everything because I'm super fascinated. Backstory of Honeybee Roofing, though, is kind of neat. It's neat to me. We started when my son turned 15 and he got his driver's permit, and everybody started asking him, where is he going to work? And I was like, I don't want him to go work for somebody else. So literally, Chris, I'm out in the front yard mowing the lawn, praying to God. What am I supposed to do? Just send him to Home Depot and hope some dude there trains him that has the same values that we do?
Right.
And God says to me, start the roofing company. I was like, we haven't really been talking about starting the roofing company.
Right.
I saw you lift that up on one of your insider trainings really recently.
We we need it.
Amen. For sure. For sure. So God's built our whole company, but that was the initiation. I was like, God, we haven't been talking about starting a roofing company, but I trust you. So yes, sir.
Well, so you're out mowing the yard and you're looking out for your kids. What were you doing? Were you in roofing already, or what were you doing for the business?
Good question. So I've been in sales for like 20 years. I had most recent career was wireless sales. So I was doing business to business sales for cell phone companies and then government sales for cell phone companies. Back in 2017, I loved the job so much. I reached out to a buddy to try and recruit him to come work with me. And he's like, man, I really
Right.
appreciate you thinking of me. I'm actually moving to Florida. You should come work with me. I was like, ha ha ha. He's like, no, for real. He was going to go be like a VP of sales for a roofing company down there that in 5 years they'd gone from 5 million to
Yeah.
30, from one office to five. He
Wow.
needed to hire two sales managers, and he's like, I don't know anyone down there, so it'd be really cool if someone I knew could come fill
Yeah.
one of those slots.
So
So,
where in Florida did you guys head down to?
so the office I worked out of was Tampa. The
Okay.
company was run out of Tallahassee
That's so cool.
because you
That's where I
just moved from
started. That's where
Florida.
I started. That's where I started my roofing career.
Really?
Yeah,
Where?
in 1991 in St. Lucie West, near Hutchinson Island and Stewart. I
Beautiful.
worked. I was down there building PUDs. I was doing H clamps and tie beams, man. Just slamming 4x8s up, making them level, putting H clamps on, spinning rebar, and pouring cement.
That's hard work down in Florida.
Oh, I think I was like 20, 19 or 20 maybe, and
Wow.
I was in the best shape of my life, of course. I was working on the roofs Monday to Friday, and then I worked in a bar Friday and Saturday and Sunday as a bar back. Dude, I never stopped working, man. I was running myself ragged back then. Wow. That's cool. So how long were you down in Florida?
So I was down there for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I really appreciated that company was founded and run by believers. Everything they did was based on their values. That's what attracted me to
Nice.
come down there. Um, there was some like growth that led to maybe the values going off the rails a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we decided to move back home. And I always kind of thought, man, it'd be cool to be that kind of contractor for my community back here in Northern
Mm,
Illinois. So I wasn't
I
praying about
love that.
starting a roofing company, but it had always been on the mind after experiencing that down there with that company in Florida.
So the why was kind of one of these anomalies of I really want to look out for my son. I don't know if I want him to be serving the wrong people, right? Serving the wrong masters. I've left plenty of places before because I was serving the wrong instead of serving who we need to serve, right? And not to get too Christian or religious based in this, which is awesome because that's the fundamental of how we feel with our company and the culture that we have here. But man,
Yeah.
I was serving some people in my coming up through my professional careers and sales. I knew I was serving the wrong leaders and I was conflicted a lot on serving those particular people, albeit I needed a job, right? So,
Right, right.
oh man, so that's cool. So that's kind of the why. So when you decided to start it, take us back to when you started the company. What was kind of the journey and the process of building Honeybee?
Man, I've been so blessed. We incorporated at the end of the summer a few years back, and
Okay.
I kept my previous job. And I was like, I'm not even going to go out and try to earn work because up here in Northern Illinois, things shut down towards the end of October, anyways. So it was good. I had a good like 6 month ramp up period to get things lined up, build relationships, and I've been blessed with really, really great relationships.
Yeah.
Um, we use GAF, and I met with their rep. He was the first guy that I chatted with, and we had a really, really great conversation. We developed a really good relationship. He was really, really helpful. And he introduced me to a local, more regional supply house. And it was kind of the same thing. We were able to develop a relationship instead of just being a transaction or a number. There was some struggles though. We were like 2 months into the 6 month planning,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I get a letter from the bank that says, we decided to close your accounts. I'm like,
Oh, it's like the Alex Hermosi story.
I don't, I love Alex Hermosi, but I don't recall that story.
Yeah, he was rocking and rolling, and his credit card merchant company closed out $150,000, and he lost everything.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
For me, it was weird because all I had been doing was putting deposits into this account. We weren't operating a business yet. So I reached out to actually my banker was a buddy I used to go to church with. He's like, I never heard of this. Let me reach out and find out. Says it was an error. He took care of it. I don't know what happened, but that was weird. We reached out
I
to
love
Supply
it.
House.
These are the stories, these stories that nobody hears about, like the right off the bat challenges.
It's funny. I'm not going to share what it is, but my password for like online banking is so basic
Yeah, please don't.
because I thought we were getting kicked out. So I'm like, I'm not even going to think of a cool password. I just did it, and now it's
Password 1234.
you're
So
not
it's
far.
I'm getting a theme that your why is to look out for the best for your family. I'm getting the relationships that you've developed with a manufacturer. Like, come on, most of these guys, oh, I got a territory manager. He never calls to me. So you've got a relationship there. Then you got another relationship through the bank connection. So it seems like everything you've said so far is family driven, culture driven for that. It seems like relationship driven to help you build that business through the local distributors, banking connection, and then your GAF rep, which is fantastic. We've got a wonderful GAF rep out here in Utah. His name is Bo, and man, does he take care of his clients. He
Awesome.
just, they just rave on him because he just cares so much about their business, helping them grow. That's that's really cool, man. So in these are short, folks that are listening, these are short tube casts. We don't drag this out for 45 minutes or an hour. So that's why I got to get through these five specific questions here for Adam. What I'd like to dig in a little bit more. Now I know who you serve. You serve the Lord Jesus Christ. We've
Right.
established that, which is fantastic. But tell us about kind of like up in Illinois, who would you say your ideal like avatar, customers, clients? Who are you serving?
My avatar is like a 35 to 55-year-old lady who has family, probably has kids, possibly has grandkids, obviously owns their home in one of the well, more likely the east side of Rockford, and they probably have a career. They're probably thinking about retirement. They either may be in their forever home, they may be in the home they raised their kids in. Um, so I learned when we rebranded, we had a lame brand to start with. Uh,
Was it a roof?
it was basically the silhouette of a house with the American flag in it, which is like two things that you can combine to just blend in completely.
Who did you work with on the rebrand? Was it Danny?
So, I went to Roofing Process Conference and Ben Morrow,
Yeah. Yeah.
he recommended, oh, you and I chatted about this a little bit. He recommended Dan Artelli's book. It was
Branded, not blanded.
beautiful. I recommended to realtors, to plumbers, to all kinds of folks.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I keep telling Dan on Facebook, we've never met, but if he did a conference or spoke at one, I would absolutely be there. And I would tell everyone to read that book. No one does, but that was it was I mean, we changed our name and our logo, and our SEO even just shot up just from having the new brand. I'm like, I think it's the same kind of website as I had before,
So,
and I
so you met Ben, the tiger, at Roofing Processing Show. And what did he do? Did he turn you on to someone?
he referred well
Or oh, I was there at that one when he was up on stage with his tiger pants.
yeah. Yeah.
I was there. I was at that one. Okay, cool. All right.
So kind of sad for me, actually. I'm at my first roofing conference. I'm sitting front and center. I paid extra for the VIP seats. He's the first speaker,
Yeah.
and he says, "Stand up if your colors are red, white, and blue." And I look around and I'm like,
Ah,
half the room? Oh
and you're
no.
and you're 6'7", right?
It was crazy. I actually argued with him over the course of the weekend. I was like, "No, we're different. We're different. We're different," which was funny. I wanted him to be like the source of truth, but I didn't want to believe the truth that he was telling me. I wanted to convince him he was wrong.
I like that you push back, by the way. When you said, "Hey, who's this Improvifi guy?" I liked that. A lot of people would have taken not offense, but they would have been kind of like, "How dare he come into this group where all these people like me and ask how dare we have an investment cost to work with us because we provide a ton of value." but I took it as this is good. I'm glad that people have the guts, and there was no harm in it. It was like just generally saying, "Hey, why?" Like why work with us? It's okay to do that. What I really don't like is all these people just going into groups with opinions and being mean to each other. Like, I really appreciated that about you when I met you through social. Now, as we're getting closer and you come to the trainings, and as we start to develop the lending solutions and train your team, we'll get our partnership. We'll become even closer on this. And now, of course, because we're brothers in Christ, we'll even become even closer now because we're related. So, like, it's really neat as the relationships grow and go, how we keep learning more and more about that. But I do like that about you, that you have the ability to push back and ask the hard questions sometimes to make a decision in business. Now, do you find you have to do that a lot in what you do for customers overall?
I apologize. My connection's a little shaky and I didn't catch that question. Could you repeat the question?
No, I just like how thoughtful you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh yeah, my internet connection is unstable, so it's on my end. My apologies. This is just how the first one's always going to go. You're
Of
very
course.
thoughtful in you're thoughtful in your questions, and I appreciate that about you. When you're making business decisions, are you the same way with everything that you make for Honeybee Roofing?
Oh boy. Yeah, actually, one of the things I'm trying to overcome is my desire to think through every possible variable before
Yeah.
making a decision.
Okay.
Um, I told my wife when we were starting the roofing company, I was like, hey, maybe we'll start a roofing company. This, like, these are the reasons it could be a good idea. And she's just learned, just agree because he's going to share all these ideas all the time and he's never actually going to like move forward with it. So actually,
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn to be less analytical and just pull the trigger on things and learn on the fly.
I uh I learned something a long time ago. I was working for this gentleman. His name is Mark Birch, president of Service Finance. And he always said, fly in the airplane, figure out how to put the wings on and up in the air and the landing gear. Like sometimes you just have to make a decision, go with it. And then you pray and you hope that it was the right decision. But sometimes you have to fix things and swallow. You have to fall on the sword a little bit sometimes. And we do that a lot here at Improvifi, by the way. We are absolutely not perfect. However, as a CEO of this company, my job is to protect you and your consumers. So my job is to protect and analyze risk. So when I go out and I create new relationships with banks and they create special programs and pricings for me to launch back out to you, sometimes people are like, dude, stop. It's too much. It's so much. What are you throwing at me? But behind the psychoticness is 31 years of me going, what happens if that lender stops funding loans? Or what happens if that lender all of a sudden just buys A paper and they don't buy B paper? What happens if that lender has high dealer fees all of a sudden? They change their programs. What's going to happen to my client database? So I'm always managing risk on my business for you, but sometimes the perception from a client to us is, dude, stop creating things, slow down. But I'll never slow down because I'd rather always have more tools in the toolbox than only a couple tools, and one of those tools breaks, we're all screwed. So I find that a lot that I have to manage client risk on my end for you guys because I launch programs and then I build the app and they're like, well, how does the app work? And I'm like, it's beta. Let's get the client success managers to build it for you, and then we just get better with it. So it is. I think I was an overthinker for years. I'm not anymore. And my wife is the CFO, and she's like, "Will you just slow down?" I'm like, "No, I'll never slow down." So it's pretty interesting when you think about it. Cool. I got a couple more questions. Core values, mission statement, purpose. What principles drive you and your team to operate kind of like the day in and the day out? Like what are and I know like core values, people have them on the walls and mission statements and that. Can you kind of sum up what the core values and mission is of your company for you and your team, and where is everybody uniquely driving together each day?
Yeah, so our core values are quality, integrity, innovation, and gratitude.
Okay.
And those really do, I would say those are come from my personal life. So
Okay.
that was it's easy when the company starts and it's just you to say that
Yes.
what the core values are, right? Because they're mine. But they do drive our decisions. They drive our relationships. They drive our interactions. They drive the clients that we serve or don't serve. Um, our mission statement is kind of based around serving the community with those core values, believing that if we work hard to serve with those core values, then we can give back to the community. Um, we were at we sponsored a tee box at a golf outing yesterday,
Okay.
and we hosted a fundraiser at our little tee box for a nonprofit here in town that serves super rough population, kids who've aged out of foster care, kids who are out of incarceration and don't have a home to go back to. And it's like hard work that I could never do. People say roofing's hard work. That's hard work. So we devoted our whole booth to raising money for them, and it was really fun. And we contribute a percentage every time we do a roof. It goes to that organization, and so I tie our values to being able to give back. And I'm not from Rockford, Illinois. Moved here 20 years ago. So, like, as an adult, I established my livelihood here. And it's a really cool community that I really appreciate. And so I like being able to contribute to the folks who have created and are part of this cool community.
It's amazing. I love it. That is super cool. My sister works in that industry where, oh my Lord, it takes a very special person to do what she does. And you can almost see the angst and stress on her face sometimes of how rough her day is on the stories that she has to hear. Because the thing that she does in the society. And I'm like, even on my hardest day here of everything turning upside down, technology breaking, not being able to get on the internet, a lender does something silly, a contractor yells at me, like whatever it is. I still know that there's people like my sister out there serving abused children, and she has to hear these stories, but it's her job to protect those kids. And I just go, man, how do you do it? Right? Our hardest day is nothing compared to kids with cancer that are dying in hospitals, nurses that are taking care of these kids, teachers that are teaching children that don't want to be taught to. Dude, we just build roofs. I just finance them. Our hardest days to some of these folks that serve underprivileged people are like they'd be like, "What happened?
Yeah.
You lost 2% dealer fee. You only charged 10. You should have charged 12. You lost $200 on deal." Silly. Put life into perspective, man. That sounds really cool, dude. 20 years is a long time to be in an area. You should feel like you're actually from there now, unless they're still treating you like an outsider.
We feel like we're from here now. This is our home. This
Yeah,
is our community.
that's
We
awesome.
say we treat our clients like neighbors because you are neighbors.
Cool. And I got one more question before we wrap
Okay.
up and we get back to work. Hmm, I think you might have already summed it up in all the things we talked about. But my last question for folks on the Building on Purpose TubeCast, TubeCast is going to take a while for me to learn how to say, so I keep repeating it. Is what are your differentiating factors in your marketplace? Um, I think you've really summed it up. What are your differentiating factors? Why are they choosing? I think a better way to ask is why are they choosing Honeybee Roofing over the guy that's cheaper in the white van? Like, what is it about Honeybee? How are you showing up? What's your differentiating factors?
So I think that we come across as family owned and operated when we interact with folks. We take our time. We provide a high level of quality service. We have this acronym. I heard about Starbucks has like they defined what's the Starbucks experience for their
Okay.
clients. So we came up with the Honeybee experience for our clients, and the acronym is SWEET. So what's the Honeybee experience for your clients? It's SWEET, which is service excellence, a welcoming atmosphere, expert guidance, an effortless process, and trustworthy relationships.
I just wrote it down.
Awesome. You're fast. So we
Good
come
report.
across that way, but I also make sure folks know that we're backed by one of the largest manufacturers in the industry. So, because of our relationship with GAF, we're certified plus. We're able to put their silver pledge warranty on everything. I don't offer it as an upsell. I don't tell people it's optional. I just put it on everything. So,
Amazing.
you do business with Honeybee Roofing, you get to work with a local family-owned and operated company and have all the work that's performed backed by one of the largest shingle manufacturers in the world. So I think that's our big differentiator.
That's amazing. And the repetitiveness in my interview questions, I keep seeing a really neat theme showing up. You have a story to tell with everything. You have a story to tell with your why that you can share with your prospective clients, your customers, folks that need your work. You have a real great beginning story on why you started it up. You got a story to tell there. You know exactly who you serve in the community and why. You've got this beautiful core values, mission statement, and purpose built from where you are as a human being, which pours out through the culture and who you attract for people to work for you, and also the people that are your customers. Because let's be clear, every contractor watching this right now, you have the decision and the choice on who you work for and who you work for. Roofs that you build on people's homes as well. You don't have to say yes to every single person out there. Sometimes your customers have to be a good blend for you. So don't be afraid to ever say no to a customer if they're not the right customer for you. I think that's super important that everybody needs business to survive, of course, but sometimes it's okay if your core values, mission, or purpose doesn't match a customer, you know that it's okay to say no. I think that's important because a lot of contractors just say yes to everything. And those are the customers that are a complete nightmare and that can really take down your business, give you the one-star review and all the other horrible things. And then last but not least, you know why you show up in your story as a differentiator when you're up against other people, other competitors. Hey, I want 3 bids. Cool. We can do 3 bids right now. I'll give you good, better, and best, better, and good in either direction you want. Hey, let's call it 6 bids, right? Honeybee can do that for you. I love it. That's awesome. So, Adam, I appreciate you. Is there anything else you want to add here before we cut this thing off and do our thing?
This is your interview, so you get to decide. I'll just say I appreciate Improvifi. We're pretty new to the platform still, but man, this training that you offer is outstanding. Like I could hire a sales trainer and pay him hundred and some $1,000s a year. We could sign up with Improvifi and have these regular sales meetings that we could bring our team to. We can learn and grow from decades of experience that you have. And it's been really awesome for us. So super looking forward to.
I do appreciate that. I really do. And I always like to tell my wife gets mad at me for this. I say, I never feel like I'm doing enough. She's like, yes, you're up at 4:30 in the morning. You're giving. You're doing live trainings. You're building a university. You're building apps. You're bringing loan. She goes, you're doing enough. And it's never enough for me, man. I just want to give back to you, our clients, our contractors, help more homeowners at the point of sale. So, man, this was awesome. It was a little rough start. Our Riverside was broken. Internet connection is poor, but I don't care. I think that this is a fantastic inaugural launch of something that I've been wanting to do for years. I'm honored to have had you here and learn about your business, your culture, your why. Is your son still working with you?
Oh yeah. He's my right-hand man. It is so great to get to spend all day, every day together. And
What a blessing.
Chris, congrats to you. I'm excited for you on the TubeCast. Congrats on pulling the trigger and moving forward. I know this is going to be awesome for Improvifi and awesome for the industry also. So thanks for doing it.
We appreciate you, brother. We'll get the recording out to you. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today on this TubeCast. We'll see you on the next one. Have a blessed day. Over and out. Thank you for joining us today on the Building on Purpose TubeCast. We look forward to the next episode. We'll see you then.